Greetings Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance and welcome back to another video. With the changes to this month's season calendar, we're continuing our series of explainer videos, taking a closer look at the new events that are arriving and trying to answer the same question every player is asking. Are these changes actually making the game better? Today Guardians, we take a deep dive into the new Rune Storm event. Because this one had a difficult job from the very beginning. Rune Storm doesn't arrive alone. It replaces two events: Alliance of Forces and Runic Millstone and Guardians. For many players those weren't just good events. Those were some of the best days of the entire monthly calendar. Runic Millstone had something players loved. It felt rewarding. You invested rune stones and got meaningful value back. If you spent 500,000 rune stones, you recovered over 25% through event rewards alone, around 128,000 back, and that was before counting all the extra rewards available from simple activities like logging in, completing expeditions and spending some emeralds. Across the event many players could collect almost another 100,000 rune stones simply by playing. Then there was Alliance of Forces. Another event built around progression. Spend rune spheres. Receive rune spheres back. Again around 20% returned if you completed the event properly, and on top of that there were simple free-to-play tasks that made progress feel achievable for everyone. Logging in. Spending energy. Opening tower chests. Nothing complicated. Nothing disconnected. And across 3 days most players could expect to collect around 3,000 rune spheres. Free to play. Pay to win. Big account. Small account. Everyone progressed. And Guardians. What made those events special wasn't simply the rewards. It was how perfectly they worked together. To spend rune stones you naturally spent rune spheres. To spend rune spheres you naturally used rune stones. Everything connected. Everything flowed. Nothing felt wasted. And because of that these 3 days became something players genuinely looked forward to every month. So naturally, when players saw those events disappear, people became worried. But we always said we would give new events a fair chance. So let's talk about Rune Storm. Before we continue Guardians, we have to acknowledge something important. The game is clearly moving toward a realm-focused direction. Developers want players investing more into realm progression and less exclusively into hero progression. That doesn't automatically make it bad. But it does change priorities. And if your favorite part of Hero Wars has always been building heroes and strengthening your account directly, then naturally these changes feel difficult. Now let's look at Rune Storm. The event has 8 task chains. Login. VIP points. Spend emeralds. Spend energy. Complete expeditions. Spend skin stones. Train infantry. And kill realm elite monsters. Login is straightforward. You receive battle pass trophies and some rune stones. VIP gives extra rune stones and red equipment fragments, but Guardians, even if completed fully across 3 days, it still doesn't complete a full red item. So for us, this isn't a task worth targeting. Spend emeralds works similarly. More rune stones. More battle pass points. But importantly, there are no sales during the event. So we really don't recommend heavy emerald spending. Then we move into energy. And this is where things begin feeling disappointing. 3,000 energy spent returns around 3,000 rune stones. That's extremely low. Many free-to-play players might only complete this once. And the extra reward: 10 red ring fragments. 10. To complete one recipe you would need 90,000 energy. 450 energy bottles. Guardians? That doesn't feel realistic. Expeditions are better. Easy to complete. Accessible. And they give rune stones, trophies and realm resources. No complaints there? But then we arrive at the task everyone started talking about. Spend skin stones. This became the heart of Rune Storm. Spend 100,000 skin stones. To receive around 80,000 rune stones, some rune spheres, battle pass points and fragments. And guardians. This is where sentiment in the community changed. Because for many players this doesn't feel rewarding. It feels disconnected. Why are we spending skin stones to progress rune events? The relationship that existed before between rune stones and rune spheres has disappeared. Now, if you do plan to complete this task, our advice remains the same. Wait until Friday. Overlap with guild versus. At least extract additional value. Because otherwise the return feels difficult to justify. Then we reach the realm tasks. Elite monsters are manageable. 25 across 3 days is fair. But again, the rewards are small. Train infantry becomes even harder. 16,000 troops requires speed ups or heavy promotion. And again the rewards don't feel proportional. So guardians. After all the numbers. After all the comparisons. What do we think? We think the numbers speak for themselves. Compared to previous events, players are losing roughly 230,000 rune stones and around 3,000 rune spheres. Instead, Rune Storm offers around 130,000 rune stones and roughly 850 rune spheres. That's a huge reduction. Especially for players that relied on those events to slowly build their account every month. And that's where the sadness in the community comes from. Not because players reject change. But because people loved those old events. They felt rewarding. They felt connected. They felt fair. And now, after seeing Abyss Splendor replace Outland Splendor, Shards of the Past replace Treasure of the Valkyries and Talisman Fever, and now Rune Storm replacing Alliance of Forces and Runic Millstone, many players are asking the same question. Are we progressing? Or simply working harder for less? Guardians? We're not trying to hide our opinion. Right now this doesn't feel like a positive change for players. But that doesn't mean feedback doesn't matter. Games evolve. Developers listen. And if enough players speak respectfully and constructively, things can change. So tell us. Do you agree? Have you found parts of Rune Storm that you actually enjoy? Because right now positivity feels rare in the community. And maybe some of you see something we don't. Leave your thoughts below. We'll read every comment. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.